Here's my interview setup. Sony FX3, you know what I'm saying? A7 IV over here, just showing y'all what it looks like and what it sounds like. Yo, yo, yo. What's up, party people? Hope you're having a good day so far. It's Tight Shirt Terry Warfield back for another video. Hey, remember to be thankful for your life today because you did not have to have that. In this video, we are actually going to try to recreate a Formula One Drive to Survive style interview shot down here in the basement. Guerrilla filmmaker at its finest. Now, the reason is, about 6 months ago, me, Armando, and a few other people all decided, hey, Terry, it would be a great idea for you to be a host of a car show. So we went out there to California, we filmed it, got the B-roll, got the car, got the drones and the film crews and all that stuff. But we're missing one important piece, and that is like an interview to tie everything together. Now, I already shot this interview, or I tried to, down here in the basement, and it came out okay. It just didn't really fit the vibe of a car show. So one of my homeboys owns several car shops. I told him, like, yo, can I use one of these shops? Because we was like, hey, it'd probably be dope to film the interview like in the body shop, maybe transmissions laying on the floor, tires laying around, all that stuff. And at the end of the day, it didn't end up panning out. So the idea now is to try to shoot something like Drive to Survive inspired, because I really love the way that those interviews look. So the challenge is, let me be honest with y'all, the basement, let me turn the microphone. Okay, the basement right now is a complete disaster. So some of it's half done. Let me just be honest with y'all. This is guerrilla filmmaking at its finest. And over here is where we are gonna attempt to get everything together. Now, as you see, the basement is kind of half finished. I was going for like this dark, moody look. My wife did all of this. I have no clue how to do this stuff, so she is amazing. But it's not finished yet. And we gotta somehow turn this into a freaking film set. So my idea is to put the black backdrop over here, and we need two camera angles. So we need a main shot and also a side shot. I'll put two images on the screen right now for reference. So we're gonna try to pull that off. Now the problem is I only have one backdrop, so I have to use the cover of darkness, which is gonna take me a little while to set this up. So by the time I get done, it'll probably be dark, so there won't be that light coming in. And my side angle is gonna be pointing with the camera facing this direction, right? Which means all of this will be completely black. So we're gonna use some camera trickery to pull that off. But I think we could do it. The first step is to get all of this crap up. So let's do it. We're making progress. And the goal is not to get the whole basement totally clean right now. It's just to get it to a space where I can work with it. So we making good progress. I'm gonna put the backdrop up right here. And then once I got the backdrop put up, I might have to iron it some because it's like one of them fabric backdrops. But then I'll show you like where we're gonna position the cameras, lights, and stuff like that. Some of y'all might be thinking like, T, why didn't you just use the black wall? Well, the problem is it's wood, so it's like painted wood, so you can see like the wood lines in it, and I just don't want that. So anyways, let me finish cleaning up and I'll be back. All right, so I got the backdrop set up, and I think the main problem I'm gonna have is the fact that it's freaking fabric. I might have to take this thing down and iron it because it does have some wrinkles in it. I even tried throwing it in a freaking dryer to see if that would get rid of some of the wrinkles, and it did not work. So, okay, in the midst of going through all of this footage, Terry talked too much, and Terry didn't get enough behind the scenes footage to illustrate what I was talking about. So I made a little illustration on my iPad that hopefully will help you understand the space constraints that I had, right? And it'll save me from putting up 9 minutes of me uselessly talking on the screen. So let me switch over to the iPad. And I tried to make an illustration of the layout of my basement, and it sucks, but this is all I could work with to give you an idea of where the challenges came from. So this is obviously where we come in. And as you see, this is where I do my work at. So that's my desk. Next to it, all of my gear. Next to it, there's a huge sofa. And all of this is where you saw my junk and all that stuff. Demo stuff is all on the floor. And over here, you see that the area is only about 7 feet across. So I thought that the best thing to do would be to put the backdrop right here. Now, again, this is only about 7 feet across. Why I thought this would work, I don't know. But neither here nor there. So I said, you know what, we'll put our main light right here. The main light needs to be close to you to give you that wraparound lighting effect, right? Then I said, hey, we'll put camera A right here. So that's cam. Now, mind you, this is right up against my gear place, right? So I don't have any room to push this camera back any further. And then I said, let's put cam B right on the side. cam. Okay, now if I'm sitting here, I don't have a whole lot of distance between me and the camera. The problem is when it comes to lighting black backdrops, especially ones with wrinkles in it, you need space. So I could not get far enough away from the backdrop or from the gear place or gear lock, whatever you want to call it, to create any separation using the 50mm lens, which you need to use at least a 50 or better in most situations to get that inner view looking. Although I ended up switching, you get what I'm trying to say. For sound, I think what's gonna happen is, I could technically boom one of my shotgun mics, but I'm thinking a more simple solution will be actually using my DJI mic, and I'm gonna put a lav on it, a high quality lav. It's not a Sennheiser, but it's a Deity one, and it's a really good mic. A lot of interviews are shot with lavalier microphones. So for simplicity's sake, I could run the audio straight into the camera. I could also set it to backup or recording, so I have a free track to manipulate and post if I need to. That also eliminates the need for backup audio because it records 2 tracks and you can record internally. So, oh, and I'm gonna have to switch to my Lumix S5 because for my 2 camera setup, I want them to have matching color signs because I'm going to be filming them in S-Log3. So it wouldn't make sense for me to film with S5 Mark II and FX3 because it's 2 different color sciences, although you can match them and get them real close. I ain't got freaking time for that. So I'm going to switch to the S5 Mark II. My main camera angle is going to be an FX3. I'm going to put a Ninja V on it for monitoring, and my side angle will be my Sony a7 IV. I'm really not feeling this backdrop. I know in the Drive Thru Survive, because I've seen their setup videos before, they only use one main light and a kicker light for the backdrop. My problem is, if we look over here, okay, here's our main light, and here's the seat. The problem is the desk is right there. So I can't swing this light around anymore, because if I was able to swing it around more, then we would get that light wraparound around my face, which would give me that little bit of light that I need on the opposite side of my face. So that's the reason why it didn't work first, is because I had wrinkles all over the backdrop and I couldn't get far enough away to get rid of the wrinkles. What I should have did was just order paper instead of fabric, but I had to work with what I had to work with. So once I figured out that didn't work, I said, you know what, maybe we need to try the other way. Now remember, I had all of this junk over here. So this is all junk, demolition stuff, wood, nails, etc. So I couldn't really move that anywhere in the timing to get this video done. But I did say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and take off the backdrop from right here. And let's move the backdrop to here. So that is now my backdrop. And because of that, now I have all of this space. So I have plenty of space going up and down to get away from the backdrop so that I could cure the problem when it comes to freaking wrinkles. So all I did was flip it around this way, and I really, like, the solution to this problem is really clean this crap up, but there's also a window back here that I forgot to put on here, which gives us a lot of ambient light coming from outside, which is why I had to wait till the cover of darkness. So anyways, I moved the light. I had to get way up here, so I had to sit about, probably this is the edge of my desk, I had to sit about right here. So that was where I had to sit at, which means now I can put my main fill light right here. And my camera would have to go way back here by the bar. So now cam A is back here. And the reason I had to do that was because I needed separation. First of all, to fit myself into the frame using an 85mm, because I had to switch to 85. 50 just wasn't giving me the look I want, so I had to put it way back there because it was an 85 to get the proper angle that I wanted. This looks really weird, so I'm about to erase this, bro. Let me get rid of that, okay? But there was the seat, okay? So this angle now worked. The other problem now is because I have no space over here, this is my side camera. This is where the side camera has to go. There's literally no space. No space right there. So I had to go with a wider focal length because I couldn't use a 50 or anything like that because I did not have space. So the problem with that was my side angle didn't look as quote unquote cinematic as I wanted to, because frankly, I had to use a wide angle lens, and that's just not good for interviews unless you want to go with like a super wide interview type shot. Here's my interview setup. Sony FX3, you know what I'm saying? A7 IV over here, just showing y'all what it looks like, what it sounds like. And now I want to give y'all a few notables, right? Let me put a little side by side for my primary angle versus Netflix's. And I think I got pretty close, right? I think it's important to remember that Netflix is a huge production, and I did this on a budget in my basement. So I think I got pretty close, right? So I was able to get rid of a lot of the wrinkles, but there were some pretty nasty wrinkles that I couldn't get out of because I had the cloth clamped up there. So thankfully I was able to finesse it in post, add a little bit of vignette. So the main angle worked out. I think the main angle looks pretty good. Now remember, for the second angle, because I had to swap the setup around and because I didn't have enough distance, I had to use a wider lens for my side angle, which means there was no compression. So I tried to make it work, but the second angle didn't come out the best. It was super noisy, etc., etc. But this is what we have when you are trying to create stuff that mimics high-level stuff on a budget in basements. And I think it came out okay. So let me know what y'all think. Until next time, I'm out of here. Tight shirt, Terry Warfield. Piece of chicken grease, I'm out. Peace.